Hey guys, just finished watching Doom Patrol, Season 1, Episode 8, Danny Patrol. What? What an interesting episode. We have Danny the Street in this episode, and I think it's really interesting dealing with that character and playing around with this character. And he's such a kind of interesting character, such a weird character that, they kind of finally found a way to pull him off on the show and stuff, and I think he's quite an interesting character, and it's definitely going to be cool to see as to where things kind of go with him. Hopefully we get to see bits and pieces of him throughout, further on. Maybe not this season. I think he's much of a character that, if you do too much of him, it'll get kind of a bit tiresome type of thing. I just don't think I could see a full season where he's in every episode type of thing. But, maybe see him one more time this season and then seeing him again next season could be really fun to play with. So, we see that we found out that Danny at the Street, I didn't know anything about the Street. I've heard of him just watching kind of videos before the show coming out of two, members of the Doom Patrol and things like that, obscure characters. And so I've heard of him just by watching YouTube videos about obscure DC characters and stuff. But nothing really, I didn't really know too much about him outside of what's on YouTube and stuff. So I think that was really interesting, kind of finding out bits and pieces about him and that, he can teleport and all that stuff was really cool. We see that the Doom Patrol gets a cake with a map on it. Larry and Cyborg end up going and go to find Danny the Street because of the map on the cake. We see Larry is experimented on in some flashbacks without his consent, and we find out that it's by the Bureau of Normacy, and I think that's really kind of really kind of interesting there. We end up meeting Karen, which is a new personality for Jane, for Crazy Jane. She's actually has powers to make people she has love powers to make people fall in love with her, and she has this one guy she keeps going back to, making fall in love with her, and all that stuff. And I think that was really kind of interesting, just kind of her dealing with her powers and stuff like that was kind of really cool. And then, she never uses it on any of the members until the end. She uses it on Rita, which I don't understand why she didn't do it right away. And then she tries to do it on Robot Man there and Cliff Steele, and it doesn't really work because he's a robot. And I think that was really interesting with that, because I'm glad it didn't work on him because he's a robot and stuff, but yet he still has a brain. So it's I think it's kind of interesting there that her powers don't work on him. So it'd be interesting to play with that to see does if someone had mind control powers, would it work on Cliff because he still has a human brain, or would the robot suit that that Chief built, would that would the robot body, be able to block, protect against mind control and things like that? And is this love thing just a more of an emotional control, or is it more of a mind control type thing that only affects love type thing? I think that would be interesting to kind of dive into a little bit more. But just to see, with mind control, could someone mind control Cliff Steele? I think that'd be something interesting to play with. We find out the Bureau of Normacy is kind of hunting the Street and stuff. Obviously, we've seen that throughout the beginning of the episode, so that was really interesting. And then Danny the Street ends up sending Cyborg and Larry back to their mansion and stuff. That's where kind of things end for them. And I think that was really kind of interesting, that whole stuff. Some of the stuff, dealing with Danny in the Street and figuring out that, he's alive and what's going on. How does he know Miles Calder and stuff? Kind of interesting, but we just didn't really learn anything. I don't think they even got anything out of being, helping Danny the Street. Yeah, they got to protect him from, in the Dannyson, the Danny citizens and stuff like that. But we don't really find out as to any more information as to where is Chief. It's been a few episodes now, and they're still at the same spot they were a long time ago. Where they haven't found any more information to try and find the Chief. So I just kind of, these are fun episodes and stuff. This one was a bit of a slower episode, and I'm looking to get things to kick up a little bit more, so that we can actually kind of jump into it and start looking for the Chief and figuring out where the Chief is. And even the trailer for next episode doesn't really give any idea of that, of moving this season story forward and kind of going into that storyline. I think that's something I really need to see, because we have no more information, and we had in a few episodes, probably 3 or 4 episodes, since we had gotten any more information as to where Niles Teller is. We keep meeting new people who know the Chief and stuff, but they don't give us enough information for anyone to even do anything. And in this episode, I don't think Danny even gives any of the information to the Doom Patrol into helping find the chief. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things go. I just really want to see more information so we can start finding the chief. And then we end the episode with Karen ends up getting dragged away, leaving Jane kind of empty. At least that's what it kind of looks like. And it looks like in the next episode we see kind of Cliff either inside of Jane or talking to Jane or something like that inside of Jane's head. I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that. I think it was really kind of interesting playing with the two, of seeing all the different personalities kind of fighting for position type thing, and I think that's really interesting to see where things go with all that. So hopefully we can have things kind of move the season storyline on because we only have a few more episodes, if I'm not mistaken. Well, 9 of like 15, I think. So I think that's really going to be interesting to see as to where things kind of go with all that. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Did you like it? Has an 8.9 on IMDb here. I'd give it more of a 7.5 for this episode because it was a good episode, fun. Just kind of not really. It didn't really further this. Doesn't feel like it furthered the season-long storyline. So let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.